A car goes airborne. It flips end over end, violent, uncontrolled sparks flying off metal on asphalt. And the driver climbing out of that wreckage, he's already thinking about his next race. That's not a movie script. That's Tuesday night. That's Kyle Larson, and if you think this story is about a crash, you're wrong. This is about something far more dangerous than any sprint car flip, the schedule that put him in that seat in the first place. Let's break down exactly what happened. Kyle Larson was leading the Brad Doty Classic at Attica Raceway Park in Ohio, a World of Outlaws event. Lap 32. He caught the cushion, that high groove on the track that sprint car drivers ride for speed, and lost it completely. The car launched into a series of brutal flips before finally coming to rest. Larson climbed out on his own power. He was checked out. No serious injuries reported. Before the crash, he'd already led 9 laps and looked like the class of the field, fastest car out there. Then, in an instant, the night was over. That's the surface level story. Now, here's why it actually matters. To understand why this crash is such a big deal, you need to understand what Larson had just been through. Less than 48 hours earlier, he was buckled into his NASCAR Cup Series car at Echo Park Speedway, grinding through a Quaker State 400 that got delayed by severe weather. That race didn't wrap until nearly 2 in the morning. Most human beings would call it a night after that, sleep for 12 hours, recover. Larson didn't. Less than 24 hours after climbing out of his Cup car, he was already strapped into a sprint car at Fremont Speedway for a high-limit racing event Monday night. Then Tuesday, he was right back at it in the World of Outlaws race at Attica, the one that ended with him upside down. Added up, 3 straight nights of racing. 4 consecutive days behind the wheel of a race car, jumping between 2 completely different disciplines that demand 2 completely different skill sets. This isn't a guy who dabbles in sprint cars for fun on an off weekend. This is a genuine obsession with racing everything, everywhere, as often as humanly possible. And Tuesday night, that obsession caught up with him in the most physical way possible. Now let's get into what actually matters here, because this crash isn't really about one bad lap. It's about a pattern that deserves real scrutiny. Fatigue in motorsports isn't like fatigue at a desk job. In a sprint car, reaction time is measured in fractions of a second. Drivers are reading the cushion, feeling the car shift under them, adjusting mid-corner based on instinct built through repetition. When your body is running on fumes, that instinct gets duller. The margin for error on a dirt track that's already razor thin becomes even thinner. Is that what caused Tuesday's flip? We can't say for certain. Cushions are unpredictable, even for fresh drivers. But when you stack 3 consecutive nights of racing on top of a 2 a.m. finish, you have to ask the question honestly, how much did exhaustion play a role? Here's the strategic risk nobody's talking about enough. Larson isn't just risking his own body, he's the co-owner of high-limit racing. He's one of NASCAR's biggest stars and one of the sport's most valuable ambassadors for growing sprint car racing into the mainstream. Every time he gets in one of these cars on minimal sleep, he's putting a business, a brand, and a Cup Series championship campaign on the line for a Tuesday night dirt race. Some will call that reckless. Others will call it exactly what makes Larson different from every other driver in the garage. Because here's the flip side of this analysis, and it's a real one. Larson's willingness to run everything every night is precisely what's made him must-watch television. Drivers who protect their bodies and play it safe don't become legends. The guys who show up exhausted and still find speed, who separate emotion from execution, those are the ones who get remembered. So is this smart or dangerous? Honestly, it's both. And that tension is exactly why this story is bigger than one crash. You can already feel the split forming. One side of the fan base is going to praise this as old school racing toughness, the kind of grit that built this sport before cushy schedules and load management became normal talk in every locker room. The point to Larson climbing out of that wreck and getting ready for the next event as proof of why he's must watch. The other side is going to raise real concerns. Team owners, safety analysts, maybe even NASCAR officials quietly wondering if a Cup Series title contender should be risking his neck in unaffiliated sprint car events on back-to-back nights with almost zero recovery time. Both reactions are valid, and both are about to get louder. So where does this go from here? 2 scenarios. Best case, Larson shakes this off completely, keeps racing at Eldora Speedway this week for high limits marquee events, transitions back into his Cup car at North Wilkesboro, and turns this crash into just another chapter in the legend. No lingering effects, full marketing gold for the sport, Fans get behind the storyline of the fearless racer who does it all. Worst case, the fatigue pattern doesn't stop, and next time the cushion doesn't let him walk away so easily. A minor injury turns into missed Cup Series races. Pressure mounts from his own team, from NASCAR, maybe even from sponsors to scale back the side races. The schedule that made him a folk hero becomes the schedule that cost him a championship run. Both paths are realistic. And how Larson responds in the next 2 weeks will tell us which one we're heading toward. So here's the real question for you. Is Kyle Larson's do everything schedule the most impressive thing happening in motorsports right now? Or is it a countdown clock to something far worse than a flip he can just walk away from? Drop your take in the comments. Are you team let him race or team slow down before something serious happens? You want the real breakdowns on stories like this, the ones other channels won't touch. Make sure you're subscribed to SportsWire USA. We'll be right back here the moment this story develops.